to the party, we got the takes, no chase. Straight shooter podcast, winning the race.
Woo! Hey everybody, it's Big Ed here, and we have a loaded, and I mean loaded studio this evening. To the right of me, I have Coach Mark Duffner, coached over 50 years, 22 years in the college ranks, and 28 years in the NFL, and he's our special guest this evening. Right below him, we have Lumpy, who is coming to us. We have Ben Diesel. Tonight, another special guest. We have Doug Burnett, who does contribute on our show. Doug, you're looking small as usual. And then we have Carrie, the Flying Hawaiian, who is he's been running a lot of things lately, the different articles and all the great stuff here. Does a lot for our show. So, guys, we have an awesome show for you tonight. Coach, thank you so much for coming to meetings with us this evening. We're going to share some stories, talk a little bit about your background. Let me do like a brief introduction if I can. So for those of you who don't know Coach Duff, I mean, a lot of us that played for him when he was coaching in Maryland. But Coach Duff was born and raised in the D.C. area, Annandale, Virginia. Went to Annandale High School. Played at a great institution at College of William and Mary. Was a defensive tackle, and he was recruited by the assistant coach Bobby Ross, which that's another Maryland connection right there. First coaching job was a graduate assistant under Woody Hayes. Man, that's something to talk about right there. At Ohio State. Defensive coordinator for the University of Cincinnati. And then at Holy Cross, he had an amazing record there, compiling a stellar 65-1 before he came to Maryland. You know, Coach, I know there's a lot of things in Maryland, but I'll tell you what, our offensive scheme on our run-and-shoot offense was absolutely amazing. We had one of our strongest quarterbacks, at least from when I remember when I was there, was Scott Milanovich. Did a great job for us, John Kaleo. We were if you look at our offensive stats, we've broken almost every record on as an offense under when Coach Duff was there, and it was pretty amazing to watch the offense that was being produced. Coach, unfortunately I only played for you for 2 or 3 years, but we had a lot of fun and a lot of great stories that we're going to talk about in a minute. After leaving Maryland, Coach Duffner went with the Cincinnati Bengals from 1997 to 2002, where he served as linebackers coach and then defensive coordinator. And then from 2003 to 2005, he served with the Green Bay Packers. And early 2006, signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars as linebackers coach and was hired by the Miami Dolphins in January to be their linebackers coach for the 2014 season. So, Coach, there's a huge resume right here. And in 2018, Coach Duffner was named as a new defensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Bucks. And then you're hired by the Bengals after that as a senior defensive assistant in March of 2019. And then you coached all the way up to the 2024 season. So huge coaching resume, a lot of information, a lot of great times. And I know Doug and I can talk about some of the stories that we have as you coach and highly motivated. Just some things right here. Oh, by the way, Bill Lynch says hello, Coach.
Oh, give him my best. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So if you guys want to have any comments or anything, please feel free. But Coach, tell us what it was like to be under like some of the great coaches that when you were coming up. What was it like coaching under Woody Hayes, and what did he provide you?
Well, I can tell you this, first and foremost, what a privilege and what a break and what an honor to have a chance to learn from Coach Woody Hayes and his staff. I mean, I just graduated from William and Mary, where I was recruited by, as you mentioned, Bobby Ross and then Lou Holtz, and I was with them. And then to go to learn from get into coaching and learn from Woody Hayes was unbelievable. A very tireless worker. People think he was some sort of a crazy guy or something, but a guy that had phenomenal knowledge, could talk to you about any subject, great memory, great work ethic, high character. I mean, it was a break of a lifetime. I wouldn't have had the chance to coach for 50 years like I was privileged to do without the chance to be with Woody Hayes. So, I'll tell you a real quick story about him. I could tell you hundreds of quick stories, but he my first year there, this is just one snippet of him, but my first year, we were actually 10-0 going into the Michigan game, which is a huge game. This is 1975, probably before, well, not too, probably before you guys were born, but at any rate, or close to it. But anyway, um, we had to come from behind to beat Michigan at Michigan. That game was just played a couple weeks ago. It was November 22nd, 1975, and we come into the locker room after beating them, coming from behind and going to the Rose Bowl, all this kind of stuff. People going crazy, and he talked to the team about what we had to do that day to beat a great Michigan team. We had to play with great character, with great discipline, with great compassion for one another, great unselfishness. And he said, let's take these traits back to the campus and make this country better than it is today. Because 12 years ago, an assassin killed our president. And he was talking about John F. Kennedy's assassination. So this is what he told the team. And then he went to a local hospital there in Columbus, Riverside Hospital, and every patient he could see that night, he went and visited and gave him a rose because we were going to the Rose Bowl. So a tremendous giving person, and learned a lot from him, but learned a lot from all the coaches I've been around. I've had the privilege to coach with Coach Dick LeBeau for 6 years with the Cincinnati Bengals, recognized as one of the best defensive coordinators ever in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I mean, I had a privilege to be around a lot of great coaches and a lot of great players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Doug, did you have a question, or are you good? Or
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Carrie?
Yeah, who was your defensive coordinator when you guys went to the Super Bowl? It was
Lou Anna, this year, you mean with the Bengals?
yeah.
It was Lou Anarumo, and Lou is currently doing a pretty good job with Indianapolis as a coordinator. Lou's a very good coach. I knew him when he was a young coach at Syracuse, when I was coaching at both Holy Cross and at Maryland, and he ultimately got into the pro ranks. We actually worked together in Miami with the Dolphins in the 2014-15 seasons, and then we were able to get together when we both went to the Bengals. And Lou's a good coach, and highly thought of in the NFL.
Yeah. Coach, we were talking to you. You mentioned like Woody Hayes and some of the other coaches that you worked under. What are some of skill sets that you actually received from these guys that actually helped you with your coaching?
Well, I think the first thing that you learn is you've got to be yourself first and foremost, and then I think you've got to always try to, I think, put the players first. You want to do everything you can to make an environment where the players can be successful in the classroom and be successful on the field. And if you're yourself and you're genuine, players will generally respond to your ability to connect with them. If they think you genuinely care about them and want them to succeed, they will listen, and then now you have a chance to really impact them or influence them on how to improve as a student athlete. So I think that's really where it all starts. I mean, X and O's are one thing, but you win with players. You've heard that story. It's the X's and O's. It's not the X's and O's. It's Jimmy's and Joe's. Well, it is.
Yeah.
It's the players. And so I think to be a successful coach, and I saw this in the way Coach Hayes dealt with players, is that if you're honest, you're firm, you're fair, and you care, then you've got a chance to be very successful. And that's what I attempted to do. And I was privileged to be able to coach you and Dougie both, and how I mean, again, the guy that's the benefactor of all these years is me. The fact that I had a chance to learn and be a part of people's lives like yours and Doug's has been priceless to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's great because just to have that kind of connection that we still have and be able to reach out, I mean, to have that kind of resource. And, I wanted to share your story and your information with maybe just somebody that's looking to move up in the ranks and get into coaching, because not only did you coach at the college level, you took it and you turned it up and we went to the NFL level. So looking between those two, like what are some of the characteristics do you think you would really need to do that? Because not everybody can do what you did. So what are some of those things that you have?
Well, I think you need to probably you got to hope you have a little Scotia luck involved somewhere along the line, because this is a highly competitive business. Coaching is anywhere, and especially at the collegiate and the professional level. I was lucky enough to do it for 50 straight seasons, and that's not easy to do in current climate. But I think, and that was one thing when I left Maryland, when I was asked to leave Maryland, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I never had the interest really in being a pro coach. I wanted to be a college coach forever and thought I would be, and had some chances. But when I went in the NFL, I found very quickly that the players want to learn just like you and Doug did as college players, and
Right.
if you and they'll listen if they know the things I mentioned to you earlier. They know that you care. They know that you're genuine, that that you're fair, and they can trust you, and you develop that very quickly. So the coaching profession has been great to me. I loved it. I never once went to truly luckily never went to work saying, "Ah, geez, what am I doing here?" or anything like that. I was blessed with 50 straight years of having a blast working with people and learning from people, and that's really what it was all about.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, just to share that story and share that information, I think anybody that's looking to aspire to get to that level, they need to know that it's not an easy thing. I mean, because there's a lot of other people involved in that also.
Well, people recognize, just like in all your professions, what you guys are doing right now. I mean, that's not easy to do either. And we all work hard to be the best we possibly can. And when people recognize that there's something special about you, your work ethic, your character, your persona, your personality, all these type things, then the word kind of gets out, and hopefully things happen in a good way for you. And like I said, you occasional help from the good Lord, and maybe a shamrock or two. All these things come into all these things. I think come into the playing and the development of your careers. But I for one am very fortunate, and lucky to have had the experience I've had.
Yeah.
Bill Inge says, "Hey, coach."
He did it earlier, and I want him to say it again. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Please.
We the pathway to execution is paved with repetition. So anytime we can hear the same thing a few times, that's all good.
Awesome. Coach, I know before the show we did talk about this a little bit. It's something that sticks in my mind because I'm going to go back to 1992 because I had it wrong at first. I said 91. But I'm going to take it back to 1992. It's a Wednesday or Thursday practice. And we're setting it up because we're about to play Florida State for the first time. Now, this is the Florida State team that has Charlie Ward, Vanover, from what I'm understanding, Derek Alexander. I think Brooks was on the team. Not 100%.
No, Derek Brooks. No. Derek Brooks was on the team.
Yeah. So
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
They were loaded, man.
No, absolutely loaded. Dougie, that's 100% correct. Their first year in the ACC, as in my first year coaching at Maryland.
Right. Yep. So Coach is a motivator. You guys didn't see it, but he did some things. I remember when you played Pittsburgh, he had this whole story that he talked about, like breaking out of that glass or breaking out of that bottle, and he takes the bottle and he throws it up against the wall and it blows, and everybody went crazy, and we beat Pittsburgh. I remember that. That was a great one. This was the most interesting story. So, Coach, please explain to everybody how you tried to get the Maryland Terrapins excited about playing Florida State.
Well, and Ed, I appreciate your memory on this, and yours too, Doug. So at any rate, one of our thoughts was always to try to not only develop a championship team, but also have some fun doing it. And so that particular week, that game week, this was our first time playing Florida State, their first entry into the ACC, in which, by the way, they were running roughshod at the time. And so anyway, on Tuesday's practice that week, I got a member of the band to come to our practice while our guys were practicing and just hit a drum like a war drum, boom, 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 the whole time in practice, because we were told that when teams came to Tallahassee Friday night, perhaps in the distance, they could hear a war drum, symbolic of the Seminoles getting ready to play. Okay, so good. We wanted to show them that. Wednesday's practice, we had the chop song going the whole time in practice, so that, again, that was not going to distract us, not the drum, not the chop song. And then on Thursday's practice, I was very fortunate to secure a horse and a gentleman that was to simulate Chief Osceola with the flaming spear. So when our guys are stretching in pre-practice, This horse comes onto the field, runs around, starts yelling in native tongues, if you will. And so the spear goes down. I get the spear, break it, chase the chief off the field, pull the team in and say, look, it's not going to be about the war drum. It's not going to be about the chop song. It's not going to be about Chief Osceola. It's going to be about us blocking and tackling, doing fundamentals on this field, somewhat Hoosier-like, if you will, this field of 100 yards by 53 in the third. That's what's going to matter. Okay, so now if we went to practice. So this was all good. I think I captured the attention. Eddie remembered it, Dougie did, of our team. But I wanted to get all that fluff out of the way. We got to play, win one snap at a time, offense, defense, special teams. Well, the only problem with that was at about 11:23 on the local sports station on Friday night. I'm watching the sports, and all of a sudden I see me breaking the spear and chasing Chief Osceola off the field in Tallahassee on their local sports show. So we had just put the players to basically put them to bed, done a room check. I called the
Yeah.
coaches. I called the coaches and said, "Boys, we are in trouble because what I failed to do was remember that I let the media come in for the first 20 minutes of practice, which was really
Yes.
stretch and movement skills. And so anyway, that's what happened. So we played the next day and we played hard but they tended to get the better end of the game.
Yeah.
But after the game, as I'm going over to Coach Bowden, Derek Brooks came quickly to me and he says, "Hey Coach, don't go breaking that spear again." So at anyway, that had gotten that the idea was to just not to allow those distractions to interfere with our ability to play competitively against the Seminoles.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that was just from our perspective, because I never saw anything like that before. When I first went out on the field, and Osceola's out there, that's pretty intense. I mean,
Well,
literally, it throws the spear with 10 or 15 feet from you, maybe 20.
Yeah. Well, the
And then-
design was not to try to scare you with the spear, but
I know.
I will share. I'll tell you one other quick story while we're on it, because this kind of backfired too. But we're getting ready. I'm at Holy Cross, and we're getting ready to play the great Doug Flutie at Boston College. And that, hopefully you remember who he was, but he was a
Yeah.
very,
Oh, yeah.
very, very good quarterback, very elusive guy,
Yes.
and could get out of trouble like nobody's business. Much like Lamar Jackson. He was literally a explosive, elusive quarterback. So
Right.
anyway, I had this great idea, because not too long before, it was only a few years after the first Rocky movie, and where when what Mick did to try to improve the footwork of Rocky was what
He got him a
made
chicken.
he made him chase a
It's
chicken.
a chicken,
So,
right? Of course. So,
so-
every
so-
Philly guy
so-
knows that story.
So I had the brilliant idea that I was going to get for our defensive linemen, as we had charted all escapability moves that Flutie had for years. I just said, hey, for fun, let's I'm going to buy a chicken, and we'll have our D line in Wednesday's practice chase this chicken. They'll get a kick out of it, but it's really kind of true. He has that kind of So I get one of our trainers to come out. He had to wear this big mitt, because of the chicken has talons.
Yeah,
on
the
him,
talons, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I call it, like, for example, I would have called you out, Lump. I said, hey, Lumpy, come on, you're up. So Lumpy's going to get down his step, and I said, throw it. And they throw the chicken, and this chicken takes off. And the only problem that I didn't think about was that we didn't have a cage. This chicken ran across the field, went across 2 fields, found a crack in the fence, went into the neighborhood by our practice field. We never found the damn thing. In fact, to this day, it's still running in the field somewhere up at Holy Cross. So at any rate, in my, sometimes in your zeal to make things memorable, and also perhaps effective, but also maybe humorous, I failed in both of those. But anyway, that's what.
You did, Coach. I'll tell you what, but you'll never forget that.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
let's talk about the college scene today, and then we're gonna start talking about the pro stuff. But
Sure.
talk about the college scene today. Everything that's going on with these NILs, and it's becoming a business. I mean, it was always a business. Let's be honest. But Coach, how do you see this thing? Like, if you're start coach, if you go back into coaching and at the college level, I mean, you would think it's a tough road to hoe, don't you think? I mean,
Very much, Ed. I struggle with it now. When you were on scholarship at Maryland, and Doug was, and anybody that's on scholarship, people goes, "Oh, you got a free ride." BS. You earned every penny of that with the scholarship. You earned it. The time commitment, the effort that you had to do. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I'm for the players. Trust me, I'm for them getting the best deal they possibly can. And I initially thought the NIL from whether it would provide travel and things for the kids and their families and so forth, all good stuff. But it's gotten out of hand. It's gotten so far out of hand that, for example, if Doug and you were playing for me right now at Maryland, I can't control the fact that other coaches are calling you every day,
Yeah.
telling you that, hey, at the end of the season, we want you to come. And so it kind of erodes the teamness and the trust that you're trying to develop in your team that you're currently working with.
Right.
And so and then it's also kind of creating in my mind a culture of I versus one of we. Players are looking, and maybe I would too if I was them. I can't blame them, but they're looking for their best deal, and it's hard to build a team when people are constantly moving around. So that for coaches, that's why Coach Saban and these people have left coaching. You saw this guy Kleiman from K State. He can't. It's not. He did. That's not what he got in it for. The basketball coaches you've seen,
Yeah.
you can't keep your team together, and so
Right.
things are constantly changing all the time. You can't develop what football and what teamwork's all about. And again, I don't blame the players in somewhat because they should be pursuing the best deal that they can get, whatever that is, whatever school it is, whatever their playing opportunity. But it is kind of building a culture of I. And so when when you're in the NFL and you're interviewing draft pick potential players and team guys you want to bring to your team, and they've been to 3 or 4 different teams, and they've gone there because of what's the best situation for them. I get it to a point, but it's also you didn't get there because of you. You got there because of the we. That you got there because of the us that were with you on your teams. So I think it's a mess. I think it has to be. It has to get to a point where it's properly, where it's fair for everybody else. You want the players to get the best deal they can, but I mean, my God, I would challenge the college presidents and saying, what about education? I mean,
Yeah.
how can guys transfer 2 and 3 and 4 times, and you're telling me they're making standard progress towards a degree? I mean,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
it's a joke. When Doug and Ed played, progress towards a degree was you couldn't play unless you were doing that, and that's actually right because the ultimate goal is not only for them to have a great 4 or 5 years playing ball, but also preparing them for the next 40, 50 years of their life.
Right.
So some of that stuff's kind of gone to the wayside, and I don't like it.
Is
Yeah. I
is there
mean,
a cap for it? Is there like a salary cap or
Well,
like a
they're trying
limit?
to. I think they're trying to get that, and I think there was a commitment even this past August that there would be a certain level of money and all this type of thing. But right now it's not really. I don't think it. I could be off on this, but I don't think it's properly officiated or regulated. And so there's, it's all it is legalized cheating now in terms of what
Yeah.
we used to think. When we used to think if I lost, if Ed or Doug told me, well, I'm not coming because I'm going to get 100 grand to go to this some school, he was done. We didn't give anybody a bar of soap, let alone
Right.
any money. So,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah, you give
I
them an
don't.
education.
Yeah. I don't like it. And it's going to cause, unfortunately, probably a super league with people with the people that have the money, and it's going to
Yeah.
cost as teams try to get into that. It's going to cost other sports to be thrown away because they just don't have enough money. And here's the other problem too. I see it. If you're a head coach at one of these schools right now and you've got people that are giving big bucks, well, they're pretty much telling you how to run the team. Or if you don't run it, they're gonna because they're giving big money. They're gonna get rid of you that way too. You got too many
Exactly.
owners, too many owners,
Yep.
and so
Yeah.
I
100%.
I pray that it can be. I pray that the student athletes can get a very good situation. They should be getting, more than even a full scholarship. But I think there's got to be a limit to it, where you're just not you're developing players that it's just not good. I don't think it's a healthy environment.
No. Opening up that Pandora's box. It's as soon as you open up that box, it's like, where do you stop?
and it's hard to, once, and yeah, not only that's right, where do you start? And it's hard to try to reel it back in, because it's already out there too far. And so, and you've got too many players in the thing. I mean, it's caused coaching, I think, to suffer, because all these guys doing a lot of these coaches or people in the staff right now are basically full-time recruiters and full-time money
Yes.
people, and the players are probably not getting coached as well because that's not the priority.
Well, and
Yeah.
recruiting has totally changed too. I mean, think
Terrible
about it.
it's a terrible way to prepare them for the
Well,
next
you
level.
think about it. Before recruiting, you used to go out to the high schools, meet with the kids. Now recruiting is opened up to, I'm going to this school, where this kid is transferring. I mean, I looked at Indiana's roster on Saturday, and they had 6 kids from Maryland, including Hemby, the running back. And I was like, man, I love that kid when he played for us.
Well, yeah, no, that's right. And so that's what. So then, when you look at Coach Loxley and the staff there, they've recruited them. They start to develop them, and then they're taken away. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, and so my point to you is that no, I don't like it at all. And geez, I just like I said, I think a lot of things are going to suffer, and I hope not for too long, until hopefully they can put some common sense, make it fair, make it reasonable, and make it commonsensical, so we can have. I mean, it's destroying a lot of traditions. It's causing, I mean, a whole bunch of things. I mean, I frankly don't like it.
Right.
Well, another thing too, it's like I think there's a soft cap on it.
I think.
I think there's a soft cap on it. I think they're working towards on capping NIL, because you're going to have programs like Oregon. They have Phil Knight right there ready to sign. Just give them blank checks. Go get this kid for $50 million so we can win a national championship. They're going to have to cap it.
So they're talking about doing a cap on the athletic department. So the whole department would be $20 million for the entire athletic department. That's the number they threw around already.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
both of you are accurate, and that's great. But there are a lot of darn good schools and darn good traditional programs that may not have those kind of benefactors. And then once again, those guys, if I'm giving 20 million or 50 million to a school, I'd kind of like to have some say in things. And so now you've got a lot of chiefs and not enough, as we like to say, Indians. So I just don't. I'm all for making things as good as we can, truly. It starts with making it the best for the players, but I just worry about the fact it's gotten way out of hand. And you've got players now that have agents. You've got players that are going to stay in because they're making more money to play in college than they would in the NFL. And it's great that you have NFL aspirations. About 3% make it, and their careers are about 3 years in length by average. I mean, there is something called in education. There is life after football that I hope we as coaches embrace, to really, while you're there, to help them become the best student athlete they can and prepare them for the next 50 years of their life. And if that's BS, then we've got problems.
I
Exactly.
mean, that's important, man. I mean, I don't know if they track it, but I wonder what the graduation rates are. These guys that receive these big NIL deals. What's the graduation rate?
Doug, you're dead on. That's why I say, we're these presidents. The presidents were, academics and graduation rate and proper progress towards graduation, with all those things. And if you transferred in the past, would you have transferring credits? I mean, it's hypocrisy.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? What, then it just call it, pro football. I mean, anyway,
Yeah.
I'm.
Well,
I've always
that's
thought players should have at least an allowance. But
Yeah.
Well, there was such a
it's,
thing called the Pell Grants and things like that. The kids, and it was based on need and whatnot. I remember, wasn't it,
Yeah.
Coach?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think the NIL was ever intended for kids to become rich. I think it was just a gap to make sure those on campus that came from impoverished situations never went without.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It
And I
was
think.
never meant for a kid to make $10 million as a freshman.
No.
It was never intended to.
As I said, it just kind of legalized the cheating that was going on at some schools. Now this opened the door for it to be,
Yeah. Big time.
Katie bar the door. I think all players should get a stipend of some sort, whatever that number is. It's fair. Put a cap on it, and that involves travel. travel for their family to come to the games, things that you talk about, whether you got to kind of make it fair across the board, whether you're impoverished or not. But, it gives you the opportunity to have money if you had to go home for a family member's death or something. I mean, we put together a fund that's a players fund that is, again, practical and reasonable, and they deserve that. Their likenesses, they're making money. The players are making big bucks for these schools. They are truly, in my opinion, deserving of some of that, but within proper reason, not to the point where, as Doug just said, $50 million or whatever it is, it's off the chart.
What about us old players, Coach? Is there anything for us? Maybe a ham sandwich,
Well,
an
yeah,
attaboy, something.
I told you, we couldn't give you a bar of soap, let alone a ham sandwich. I would have liked a
I
hat,
remember that.
or a
So
bowl
you
of
know what I
chili.
remember? I
Yeah.
remember before Coach Duffner came in, Coach Krivak used to give us rides across campus to and from
Yep.
practice,
Yep.
and that had to come to an end. They were
Yeah.
like a special treatment, so you couldn't get a ride over from training table to the coach or to practice.
Yeah, I remember when we had the fruit baskets on our recruiting trip. They put a fruit basket in the room, like just to have, and then they charged everybody $50 for the fruit basket. Yeah,
Yeah, because
but that never would have happened before.
that was an excessive benefit. And what Doug just said, you want to know how stupid this was?
Yeah.
If Doug and if it was pouring rain on our campus, I mean, gully washer, and Doug and and Ed are going to practice, and I see them, and they're going to the library. I couldn't pull over and pick them up and give them a ride out of the rain, or even worse, if Doug or Ed had some sort of a crutches or they were in some sort of an injury, I couldn't give them a ride back to their dorm or to a classroom building. Or, I mean, it was absolutely, a lot of these rules were made by people that had no common sense, and and unfortunately, a lot of things suffered for it.
Yeah.
Coach, you're right, because I remember I tore my ACL the week before Florida State.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of times I had crutches walking across campus,
Yeah.
and you couldn't even get me a ride across campus to training table.
Can you imagine that? I mean, can you imagine how just, again, absolutely crazy that was?
And Maryland's not a small campus.
Yeah,
No,
no, that's
huge.
no, that no. I mean, that's ridiculous. You would do that again. The benefits that these players that at that time should be available. I would have picked up any student in that situation, not just a football player. And so, I mean, again, common sense was not the rule at that time.
I just remember, my name's still on the bulletin board for the most part of tickets ever at the University of Maryland. That place, man, they got me pretty good there.
No, let me say this to you: they were the best parking. Whatever it was, they gave better tickets than anybody in the history of college campuses.
Yeah, they would find you. I'm telling you, you need somebody to do some serious police work. Hire the Maryland ticket people.
Absolutely correct. The parking.
Awesome.
If you went to the parking department there, we'd solve a lot of problems across the country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're like that at Mississippi State too.
Oh,
crazy.
Well, let's since we're talking terrible, let's talk. We're going to move a little bit, Coach, to and everybody else on our group as we watched that debacle last night. If you guys, most of us here are Eagles fans, well, at least there's 2 or 3 of us here that are, and I would love to get your guys' insights that aren't, because after last night, I was sick watching. Jalen Hurts, he threw his 4th interception last night, but it wasn't all on him. But Carrie, why don't you get started? Let's get your insight of what happened.
Man, there's Hurts probably had the worst game he's ever had. I mean, he basically threw 6 interceptions, and he threw an interception and fumbled on the same play. Like, when has that ever happened?
Yeah.
1978 was the last time a player had 2 fumbles, 2 turnovers in the same play.
Before my time.
Lumpy, well done, because that's the fact. I looked it up myself.
Wow.
What was it, Lump?
I don't remember. It was the same. I believe the same thing. Interception with a fumble.
Coach, do you remember who that
Don't
was?
put a spot, Ed.
No, I just wondered if it ever happened before. And when I looked it up, it was 1978. Is Lumpy very properly stated there, and so that's a rare occurrence. But let me say this to you guys now, and you're Eagles fans, and I'm not a devout Eagle fan. I am a fan of what they've accomplished, and I am a fan of what they've done defensively, offensively, the success they've had. I'm highly impressed with the player acquisition that Howie Roseman, your guys done. I mean, you guys are a little bit spoiled there right now. That is
Oh
a hell
yeah,
of that's a hell of an organization.
Mhm.
It is hard to win at any level in the NFL week to week. It is tough for having gone through it for 28 straight years. It's tough sledding. Anybody, that old cliche, anybody can beat you anytime. They can, and it week after week, it's tough. And the standard that your
Exactly,
team
coach.
the standard that your team is set is at the highest. And not to give excuses for them, but it's tough to maintain that all the time, and things can happen in games. You every one of us has a rough game or a rough night,
Yeah.
and the quarterback did, but it wasn't all his fault either. And
No.
so stay with them. They're gonna be fine. I looked at what
Yeah.
their
Well,
schedule.
it's the
I,
fact that they're so talented is why they almost actually won that game. As bad as they were offensively, they were a drop touchdown pass that was like a perfect pass.
uh,
It was his
yeah,
best throw of the night,
Car-
and it was
AJ,
just
right?
dropped. Yeah,
Carrie,
he
Carrie,
dropped
you're
three
100.
big ones.
Carrie, you're 100% correct. And any game, let me make it clear to you: if you give away the ball three times in the NFL or in college football right now, your chances of win are about uh, 20%. There's
Yeah,
an 80% chance if you give it away, you're going to lose that game. They gave it away more than that. They had no business with things that occurred in that game having a chance to still win that game. So keep in mind that this is a hell of a team you've got. Stay with them. I know, I mean, come on, that's what it's all
yeah.
about. And
I haven't hit the panic button yet, quite
You know
yet,
what?
because we got a. I
They
keep
just
wanting to call them San Diego, but Los Angeles is they're a pretty good team. They have a pretty good defense, pretty athletic defense,
I
and
think
it was a road game, but offense got to get it together.
you got 4 games. You wait and see. Coming
Yeah,
left. You wait and see. And I'm not a fan like you guys. I am a fan of what they've accomplished and what I think that team's made of, and they'll be fine. You wait and see.
yeah.
they need an i-
What about
they
Jacksonville? Oh, I'm sorry.
they need an
You-
identity. The Eagles need an identity. They don't have one. Are they a passing team? Are they a running team? I know one thing: if Hurts has to throw the ball 40 times a game, they're not going to win.
here's the
So
problem with the Eagles. I mean, the one thing that I brought up before too, they keep going out of the shotgun, and then they go out of the silent count. I'm not a big silent count guy. I can't stand that, especially out of being an offensive lineman. I like my guys to get down into a stance. If you're going to run block, run block. And they don't have the guys that they had. And when Lane Johnson's out, that kills I mean, Fred Johnson's serviceable. He's good, but he's not Lane Johnson. I mean, that guy's, so there's just a lot of things happening with the Eagles right now. And Saquon is good. He's going on one step and boom,
so
we had Bigsby where he hits the hole harder. So
Okay, hold on, hold. Let me just throw this out. Tank was with us here in Jacksonville. I saw him, and Tank's a good player.
right.
Saquon Barkley is a different player than Tank.
Oh yeah,
And you guys saw a phenomenal season by him a year ago. Your offensive line, when they're all healthy, speaking of Lane, well, you're 100% right, is as good as there is in the NFL, the best in my opinion. And so if they get them all back going again, let them see. Doug, I want to disagree with you if he has to throw that many times. Most teams, if they have to throw that many times, they're out of sync a little bit and balance their percent of the defense. So I'm with you on that. But this team, don't give up on them right now. Jeez, oh Pete, this is a week to week league, as we like to say, and people have week to week opinions too. But I'm
yeah,
just.
Coach. You don't listen to Philly enough, then, because this is.
Oh no.
yeah. This has been
I
hey,
know
yo,
I know it's
Well, me
probably
and
you.
Ben were saying last night, I was like, why aren't they running the ball more? Saquon's actually getting yards. Why are they passing on these downs? I question Sirianni a lot.
How about
If
this,
he doesn't
Kerry?
have,
That the final drive of that game, it just baffled my mind just from the outside looking in, just watching a game. The run game started working. Like
Yeah.
I mean, Saquon had a very good night, and that last drive in overtime, they didn't run the ball.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just get in that situation. They're working down the field, run the ball.
How about
yeah,
this,
they
Ben?
had like 4 minutes left on the clock, and I think they had 2 timeouts in their pocket. So I don't see why they were in such a rush to get down the field like they were.
When
Yeah.
Jalen's in shotgun, they were averaging 3 yards per carry. From under center, 8 yards per carry.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
Hard to,
penalties killed us last night too, man. Penalties were bad. A
well,
lot of it was just sloppy play.
Well, that's always penalties. It's always about us as the team right now, and we can't give away snaps.
Yeah.
When you give the ball away or you give away with penalty, now you're playing two opponents, yourselves and the opponent, and you can't do that. But Lump, I'm impressed with your stats now. You're dead on with that, and it's kind of a given fact that when you're under center, the running game generally can be more productive. I know this. I'm certain they're not. Trying to avoid utilizing one of the very best backs in all of ball, and
Right.
so they have, as I said, set a pretty high standard. Trust me, they're working hard as hell to get back to that and then some.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's just sad because honestly, I thought they were going to just drive it and take it to them and then either win the game or tie. I didn't think that was going to happen last night, but hey, that's why you play them, right?
That's why you play them, and keep in mind now, like I said, you flipping guys are spoiled up there, and so.
Coach, how many years did we go? Come on. I mean, you even lived through it when you used to hear us Eagles fans down at Maryland with the Redskins used to give us a hard time and all that. Remember all that?
I've been a devout fan of ball for a long, long time, but
Yeah.
but by God, you've got a hell of a team and a hell of I
Yeah.
promise you this: there's 31 other teams in that league that would like to duplicate what the Eagles organization's all about right now.
they've had
You think there's a
20-year
Super Bowl
run. That's
hangover,
great.
Coach?
Hey, Coach
Guaranteed.
Duffner.
What?
Coach Duffner, I have a question for you. What do you think's going on with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore?
Boy, great question, Doug, because I'm going to tell you up front, I think I've shared this with you in person. He is as scary a player as I've ever been on a field with in my life. He can make every throw. He's as elusive as any player I've been around. He's got joints that are made of rubber because you can't hurt him. At least I haven't seen it before. And so I don't know if he's pressing too much. I don't know if he does have some injury, which I pray to God he doesn't, and I wish he did when we played him. But I mean, not to hurt him, but I don't know. I just know when he decide, I know for a fact he can do anything, and he's the least favorite quarterback we ever faced that I wanted to face because of what he could do against you. Trust me, he can make every throw. Don't let anybody think he can't. He can throw it with the best of them, maybe the best. And again, his elusiveness is off the chart. So somehow, some way, they just have not. I mean, there's a lot of teams right now that are struggling to kind of all you got to do is go to Kansas City and ask them what's going on there too. But
That's true. That's true.
but I would say to you that teams better still be wary of the Ravens and what this guy can do. That's all I'll say to you.
Yeah.
And they've got a big one. I think they've got the Bengals, I think, this weekend.
Yeah,
And
they do.
that'll be a big tilt, and we'll see. I'm just looking afar, and I haven't studied them really, but they haven't been as good on defense down there. And you know better than me, Dougie, being a devout fan. But when they're able to put it all, get both sides to play as we call complementary football, they can do a lot of damage. So don't count them out yet. And then Henry, Jesus, Pete. I mean, you talk about a goddamn genetic freak. Holy flip! I mean, they've
Clean
got
it
a
up,
few.
Coach. Clean it up.
Huh?
Clean it
Yeah,
up, Coach.
I said clean it up, Coach.
well, that's what I used to say to you guys, and I think I
We
said
don't
flip.
have a bleep button.
No, I said Did I say something? I think I said flip.
No.
Flip.
Coach, I was giving you a hard time.
So Ed,
I used to
tell the
say
guys
clean it
about-
up to you guys.
Huh?
Ed, tell the guys about Coach Duffner with his cleaning up stuff at Maryland.
I know to clean it up. Well,
Yeah.
no, I was kind of telling like when we first got to Maryland, like first of all, when Coach Gray first got to Maryland, we had guys wearing earrings, we had guys like cursing like sailors and everything else. So that I don't know, Dougie, what do you want me to say? When we first got to Maryland, yeah, we got the old all right, clean it up, man. But
Clean it up. I
yeah,
remember like it was yesterday, man. Clean it
yeah,
up.
clean it up. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
guys-
I remember cursing on the sitting on in the team house, and I said something. I'm sure I said something colorful, but
So you weren't allowed
Doug-
to wear your earrings?
no, I didn't wear them. I stopped wearing earrings because I didn't feel like putting the tape on them and taking them out and putting them back in. So I stopped wearing them. I won't even tell you what my father asked me when I won't even say it because it's not very PC.
Oh,
But
my mom
when I
was
got
mad.
my earrings,
My
Yeah.
mom was mad.
I heard the same thing. Trust me.
yeah,
She was like,
yeah.
"What am I
Yeah.
gonna tell your Uncle Calvin?" I'm like, "Uncle Calvin's like 70 years old. I don't care what you tell him."
Yeah. No, it was
Yeah,
funny.
well, yeah, let me just tell you on the earring thing. I probably was. I don't know. I had some. I mean, it made no difference really, and it really didn't. And some of the greatest people that I know have earrings. I could give a flip. I mean,
Look,
so, I
I'm
mean,
wearing one right now.
and you know
Yeah.
what? I
But
love
you
you
still
for it.
look cool. I wear it. I look like a dorky old boomer wearing
Yeah,
something.
well,
you
no,
guys
no,
gotta
no,
dress like
no,
Cam
but I
Newton.
mean, that really meant nothing. But I did try to, I'm not holier than thou, but the language I tried to clean up a little bit. I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm gonna put you on the spot though, Coach.
Go ahead.
Just a little bit. Just a
Go
little
ahead.
bit.
Go ahead.
Just a little bit. How come like 2 or 3 years later I heard like the guys were allowed to curse and stuff like this when we were there? I'm
Oh,
saying
no.
novenas.
Oh.
I don't understand.
No. The guys were
That was
not
okay?
ever. No. The guys were
Okay.
never allowed to curse. No.
Okay.
So I didn't change. No. Now they may have. Maybe I was. No. There's
A
no
little more
chance.
liberties? No.
Nope. Not on that one.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
I just heard a rumor. And then another thing that Coach Duffner did. Now this was actually pretty cool, but I can't believe you guys actually did this. We had an alumni game. Now it was the coolest experience for me because I'm playing with like some members of the '85, like the conference members team. I'm playing next to Chuck Fawcett. I'm playing next to I forget who else. Stan Gelbaugh was our quarterback. It was an amazing experience, right? But then there was this one guy that came out, and he played in the '60s or the '70s. I don't know if you remember this, Coach. He had the full sleeve, like the hand shield from the '70s,
Yeah.
getting into a 4-point stance, and he was just getting buried. I'm like, how did you guys?
Well,
Weren't you a little worried about that? Just a little bit.
I was worried about health of some of these older guys, and of course they had to sign a waiver and what have you. But it was it really was a way to play against somebody else other than our own guys.
Yeah.
And also we part of that whole the experience was to get you to rub shoulders and learn from guys that had been successful and kind of the guys that had set the path before you got there. And so we had the social the night before.
Yeah, it was great.
You could have mix and so forth. And so that was an idea for it. But geez, well, Pete, that was pretty good. There's a lot of good players that came back.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't easy. That wasn't easy for us,
No.
So, but it provided, I think, a winning situation for everybody, and that the connectability, the networking, the playing against somebody else, them coming back to play and being appreciated. That was the desired outcome.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. But I remember I was just like, wow. I saw some of the other guys. Some guys went out there. They were just ready to go, and they were looking like my age or older.
Oh yeah, no, they wanted to prove number one. I still got it. Number two, I'll show these young bucks what the heck's going on. So
Yeah.
And by the way, they weren't. That wasn't a pushover game. Let's tell the truth.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
All right. All right. What else we got with the Eagles?
So Coach, can I ask you something about
Go
the
ahead.
Eagles? You think they're suffering from a Super Bowl hangover?
Who is that? Your team?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know that at all. I just
Yeah,
sometimes it's they again, to their credit, they've set a very high standard, and when you it's hard to meet that week after week in
yeah.
anything
Especially
you
when you,
do.
especially when you have teams gunning for you,
I
With
just
like
think
they are with the Eagles. Like
oh yeah,
everybody's
no,
gunning
yeah.
for the Eagles right now.
Oh, and they have
Knock
been
them
for a
off their
while.
perch.
Yeah, and no, they have been for a while. So you're going to get every team's best shot.
yeah,
Now you should welcome that. Okay, yeah. I used to tell our players, if you ever played King of the Hill, if you played that as a kid growing up, where you fought to get to the top, it's harder to stay at the top than it is to get to the top. And that's where they are right now. They're kings of the hill, and they're trying to fend off people away from them right now as they hold their position. Not easy to do, and they're going to get everybody's best shot, and so they've got to welcome that and be proud of that and say, hey,
Hey,
we kind of like the taste of being world champion. We'd like it a few more times. So be greedy with that right now.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, you're absolutely right because I remember when we went to the Super Bowl in 2022, the Super Bowl we lost by 3 points. Um, Everybody all season told us I had to hear from every other fan base. I'm in a lot of trash talk groups. I had to listen to everybody that season how we didn't beat anybody that season. We had the easiest path through the playoffs. We beat the Daniel Jones, and then we beat an injured Brock Purdy team, and
Yeah.
it was
Uh,
just. You're right.
okay.
I do want to see us play against tougher competition, and
And all that yakking was sour grapes, okay, from
yeah.
other
Oh, of
people
course,
and
of course.
jealousy and envious. Let me just say one last thing on that. I coached 28 years in the NFL, was fortunate to do that. In the 25th year of my coaching in the NFL, I was privileged to experience going to the Super Bowl. We
yeah,
lost and we're this close to winning. We didn't win, but it's hard, 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 hard to get there. And
Hmm.
and so I have the highest respect for anybody that gets to that, players and coaches alike, teams alike. And I pray to God when they get that opportunity, they come home with the championship.
yeah.
Yeah, last year was really nice.
I
I'll
don't
tell
That
you
believe
that much.
in I don't
It was
believe in weak schedules in the NFL. I don't. And yet, everybody kept saying, the 49ers had an easy schedule this year. I don't believe in easy schedules because
well,
anything can change from one week to another.
You're 100% correct, and everything changes. A lot of the complexity or the personality and of your team changes from year to year. So
Mhm.
what the strengths of your team was, that trust me, it tweaks. With retirement, with cuts, with injuries, all those things go on, and then with additions, free agency, the draft. So the teams are never the same. That the 2024 team is drastically different on all NFL teams right now than the current 25 team. They are. And you can see it right now by some of the records that you're seeing on a weekly basis. So,
yeah.
no doubt.
Who's your top five gunslingers in the NFL right now?
Top five.
Yeah,
Well, I'd have to again. I'd say Lamar Jackson. I'd say Joe Burrow. I'd say Josh Allen. But that I think here that I'd also have to tell you that I think you've got to have Sam Darnold is possibly in the conversation. Goff in the conversation. I mean, Baker Mayfield was coming back. The beautiful thing that I saw with Mayfield and Darnold, here are two guys that were just kind of team to team floating around,
Yeah,
and now
Baker's my guy, man.
yeah, no, and
I
and
love me some
and and
Baker.
and both of them putting teams. Bucks had a tough loss here, but putting their teams in position to be in the hunt. So I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of really good quarterbacks. I mean, Justin Herbert is a special player. I mean,
Yeah, I was
uh,
really impressed with him last night. He was tough.
oh,
I
he's
mean, he
tougher
didn't
than
complete. He completed, I think, around 50% of his passes, but he played with a broken hand. Like he just had surgery,
Gary.
and
He's
it
tough.
was. He is tough, man. He is
No,
tough as
no,
nails. He was
we.
running the ball. He impressed me last night.
Well, let me say this: I had the privilege to coach him in the Senior Bowl about
Okay.
five or 6 years ago, and you talk about a highly competitive, bright, athletic, can throw everything, can run like hell guy, and it is tough. I'd take him in a heartbeat. So
Yeah,
there, I mean, I
I'd
and
like to
and
see him have more playoff success. but that's a team thing. That's not all on him. You know,
Without a
he's
doubt.
a good quarterback.
There's not one quarterback or one player that can do it. That's why this is the greatest team game there is,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's why you want these college players and the pro players when they have success to understand that, hey, it isn't about you didn't do it just you. It was about us and we. So make sure you understand that as you move forward and you ask for different things. It's not. This is not an I game. This is a we game.
Right. So what about you followed your Jacksonville? What about Lawrence?
Highly talented athlete that's been that, in my opinion, lacks consistency or has lacked. This is his fifth year right now,
Right.
and he can make it like a lot of them. He can make all the throws and things, but he up to this point, in my opinion, and he didn't scare me when I was coaching against him in the past because of his inconsistency. And so, in other words, he'd make a wow throw on a 9 ball or 7 ball, whatever the case may be. But then all of a sudden, you'd see one that maybe I could even throw. There would be an issue. The last couple of weeks here, and I think what Liam Combs done with him, he's really connected with him well. I think he's taken. Sometimes I'd see skittishness in his play. He'd be a little panicky at times. I think Liam Combs has done a good job with kind of letting him play and not worry about the consequences. Just play one snap at a time, and he's got some ability. And basically, as all these teams we're talking about, success is parallel with the success of the quarterback. And so, when you have a good quarterback, as you guys all know, you've got a chance to have a pretty good team.
Yeah.
He's playing. He's not the leading lady, and he doesn't need to be the one. Just direct the offense, do your job, and let everybody else contribute too. And he's starting to do that at a level that's helping his team win.
Yeah. Okay. And then go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of want to ask you, what are your thoughts on Hurts? Because I mean, the guy's had a different offensive coordinator every season since I think his senior year of high school,
Yeah, and
and
just
um,
try to put yourself in that category. Let me make that clear. That is not easy, and I don't give a
yeah,
flip. I don't give a flip how many years you've played and how many games you've played. When things are changing, that is not easy. Now, that's not trying to give him an excuse, but it's not easy.
yeah,
And that's
you're
just
bound to run into one of them. That's
that's just one more thing on your list of things that you've got to do and do very quickly in terms of
yeah,
decision making, in terms of play selection, etc. I also we had him in that same Senior Bowl, and I was highly impressed with him, and I think he's a fine player. I think the guys that can play the most consistently, and it's hard to do because any of us have some of the guys chasing you and knocking the hell out of you like that happens. It's tough to do. They get paid good money, yeah. So do the other guys trying to kill you. So I mean, at any rate, I think what he's demonstrated to me is he's a winner. I would take him anywhere because I know his
yeah.
leadership skills and his ability to direct an offense can be consistently winning. So is he the
I think he'll
best?
be fine.
Yeah. Is he the best measurable quarterback going? No. Is he a very effective winning quarterback? The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um. Yeah. That's awesome. Now, going back to college again, let's talk a little bit about the playoffs. My gosh, we have so many things we spoke about this evening, but Coach, we really appreciate your time coming on. The 12 teams that got in, two teams, one was JMU, and it's no slate on JMU, and also Tulane, but Notre Dame was not included in the playoff. What's your read on all that, also, Coach?
Well, I think there's a couple other worthy teams. I think Vanderbilt had a phenomenal season and would be another team of strong consideration to have an opportunity to participate. Um, I have all the. I would like to send all the congratulations possible to James Madison and what they did this season. What a terrific season! They basically accomplished everything they set out to do. Had a great season. But I don't see them in this playoff over a team like Vanderbilt and or Notre Dame, and that's just how I see. I think that the playoff system, and I'm not an expert on this. I haven't been studied it well, but I just think if you want to try to pick the very best 12 teams in the league, I mean in the country, to participate, and I think we'll see. We'll see how the game against Oregon goes against James Madison. I hope it's not one that's so one-sided that it looks like, wow, that was a bad decision, but it possibly could be. But I just uh, I think they got to figure out a way to continue. I think they're getting closer to it, but I think where they really, put the best 12 or 16 maybe teams that can compete and let her rip, and I'm
Yeah.
just not, again, not to degrade from what those teams accomplished, but I think I think there should be an ACC champion in it. I think if you're gonna, whatever the top conferences are, those champions should be in it. I think, and
Yeah.
I think that's just my opinion. And so I think if you, I would support a Power Five playoff too. With those teams that let them have a playoff, just like they have in what is it, the FBS,
FBS.
yeah, the
Yes.
FBS, and the other divisions, make those teams should have a shot to play for a championship. But I think there's a difference in the talent level. There's a difference in the depth level, and so that's just my opinion. And that's we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, just to see like how everything is turning out was with you have this playoff system, you have these NILs, you have, I don't know. Part of the innocence that college football is I think has left the room, and it's kind of a shame, in a way because really this kids were playing. You're playing for pride, you're playing for your team, and then when you start moving from one school to the next, and I just I don't love it, but I mean I understand if you're getting paid and whatnot, and then another thing is these kids are getting paid and they get so much money. What's the incentive to play in the NFL? So you have to, how much is too much,
Well, that's what
So
that's what I was telling you before. There's guys that are eligible to play in the NFL or compete to make a team in the NFL. They're going to stay in because they're making more money. I just don't. That just and I'm not being old school. I'm being right school. I just
right,
don't. I don't see that that's the right way to go. Do I think that they should? Again, as I said earlier, do I think they should have a properly uh, compensated situation? It's kind of even across the country and everything else. Yeah, I think it
right,
should be. I think it should be more than even what we had as you guys had as full scholarship players. I do think it should be, but not to the point where it's out of control and where you've got multiple teams that they're playing for, because that's not teaching them the right thing. That's teaching them to go where it's best for me rather than where it's good for we.
yeah,
And if they're gonna, and I told our owner 2 years ago, Mr. Brown in Cincinnati, I said, look, we're always looking for we guys. I said that's going to be a little harder as these players start to come into the league that have been through no fault of their own in an environment that's all about me. So
exactly.
we'll see.
That's
So,
tough.
That
Coach,
wide receiver for Ohio State, was it Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah.
He's getting paid $1 million more a year to play college football than Jackson Smith and Jibba with Seattle.
No way. Is
And
he really?
yeah, and JSN, JSN's still on his rookie deal, but still, and JSN's probably what statistically the best receiver in the league right now.
Yeah, he is.
And he's making,
Terrific.
I think he's making $1 million less than Smith at Ohio State right
Wow.
now.
Crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
No, see that is Doug said that is crazy. That should not happen.
No.
Hmm.
I mean, of course, JSN, he's probably about to get a very lucrative deal after this year, but still doesn't erase the fact that he's getting paid less than a college athlete right now.
All right. Well, hey, guys, I have one. There's one little section that we didn't talk about tonight, and I know it's very important. And this section is actually sponsored by Nation One Mortgage and Frank McCartney. And this little section is called Lumpy's Lunchbox. So, Lump, let's hear about your lunch. What did you have today?
so it wasn't today. Yesterday, went to oh God, what Joe's Steaks.
Okay.
So Joe's Steaks has been around since the 1940s. It was really Chink's Steaks, and they changed the name a couple of years ago. People were offended by it. So went up there last night for dinner, and it's not a typical Philadelphia cheesesteak. I think the typical Philadelphia cheesesteak is not chopped meat; it's the slabs of meat.
Yeah.
So they do chops. They do chopped meat, and of course they offer the cheese whiz on a seated roll. It's inside. It's a little bit of a restaurant. It's an old row home kind of a thing. So it was not like sitting outside of Pat's and Gino's and Tony Luke's where you're freezing cold. It was inside. Had a milkshake, milkshake was less than average, but the cheesesteak was fantastic. I'm going to say 10 stars. I give it a 7.5.
7.5 out of 10 for Lumpy's Lunchbox.
Yeah, well worth going back. Well worth going back. Coach, when you're in town, let me know. I'll take you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd look forward to it myself. You were, I was drawing myself towards you. It was very well done.
Coach, I got a funny story with me and Doug actually asked me for a Wawa hoagie 2 years ago when Maryland was playing, or 3 years ago. And I actually brought one down for him, and then Dave Marone bumps into my arm and just like knocks it all over the ground. It was horrible.
Yeah, he slapped it out of my hands. He still
slapped it out of your hands.
Well, Marone being the linebacker that he was, he could do that a little bit, Doug.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what the hell? But no, that wasn't a good move.
That was a Duke maneuver on his part.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
You hear that, Marone? That was a Duke maneuver.
Now, if it was Wawa meatball sub, we would have been fighting.
Juice, I'll bring you one down on Thursday. I'll be down there in town Thursday. I'll bring one down for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Well,
Hit me
you're
up.
not going to bring
You got
anything. Look at me. I'm famished.
You do not need
I'm
food,
hungry
pal.
too.
Need
Coach,
one of y'all to mail
Coach.
me a sandwich from up north.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, well, you guys have all that southern food. I love that stuff down there in Mississippi. Oh,
I
my
don't.
goodness.
I hate fried food, man.
You
I
do?
hate fried food. Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
I fried my turkey for Thanksgiving. It was fantastic.
yeah.
I mean, I'll eat deep fried turkey. That's my extent. But I don't know. Like, I get nauseous after eating something that's too greasy.
Yeah, I use an air fryer.
Yeah.
That's
so
good. Well, that's
pretty
fancy.
good. It's pretty healthy.
Coach
I'd say-
Duffner,
Deep
I
fried.
wanted to say thank you for coming this evening, guys, and thank
Thank
you
you.
guys for all. Hey,
Thank you,
guys.
Coach.
Yeah, we
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it, guys. If you guys like this, remember to subscribe, like, and subscribe. All of us here at StraightShooterSports.com. We really appreciate you guys. Doug Burnett, thank you for coming this evening. Carrie, as always, great job. Make sure you guys check out Carrie's articles, The Flying Hawaiian. He's right there on StraightShooterSports.com. And Ben does a great job with our group. And Lumpy will have another lunch review. Next time he'll be wearing a stained shirt.
We like it.
But that's it.
Handles of food.
Coach, you're always welcome on our show. So we
I
appreciate
look
you.
forward. I
It
look
was
forward
an
to
honor,
coming
Coach.
back. Thank you for
All right.
having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Nice
Coach.
to meet
All
you.
right, Coach Duff. Love you, guy.
Love you
you.
guys. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you.
All right.
All right.
All right,
See
bye.
ya. Y'all have a good
Take
night.
care, guys.